Hey you guys, it's your main man. Actually, I'm bringing you guys some more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the last part, we found out the details of the SL9 case, and it has something to do with Emma, who has run off. So now we are going back into the courtroom for I think it's the second day of courtroom dealings. So let's get into it. I'm sorry, it's the third day, I believe. I'm not. I haven't recorded this in a while, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what was going on beforehand. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just mad, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind call it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. How? I never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. Well, is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? The desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert stands. No paper can sum it all up. Maybe it's best we can get on with it. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In English. Wasn't he speaking English the first time? No, he was speaking American. There's a difference. My job was to keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. On that bone orchard. What does that mean? They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room is protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the Street Sat Saloon at the time it went down. I'm an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Sorry mate, we got more ammo than you think. And we got the gun pointed to your head. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the finger-activated locks inside the evidence room? Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weakness, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. He's not that bad of a guy, he just doesn't know how to speak English. He speaks American, which is stupid. Hold it! Hold it! Oh, the mic wants to work, sometimes it doesn't want to work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't want to work. I made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room stood still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who entered the control. They use words I've never heard before. Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Every time I erased the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. They say I was supposed to make 3. Okay, we know about that. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? And you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the evidence locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How's that guy avoid from being fired? Maybe he's just good at his job, who knows? You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. Yeah, that is incredible. I mean, not knowing how a bike works? I think he's just over exaggerating, but now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what happened? If I remember right, I was Street Fighter Saloon when it all went down. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel Star's steaks lunches can beat the parlor's one. Oh my god, I'm not saying that. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados not all desperados eat tacos, partner. Have you tried a spaghetti taco? If you get that reference, thumbs up to you. I'll give you thumbs up. You probably won't because it's a very obscure reference I just made there. That's right, partner, or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to the ground, then you better grow. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card on my sleeve, so I'd best keep it cool. Before I use it though, I better up the ante. So we know of the trump card that Phoenix is talking about. So we have to link him to something else, and we have to pin something on him. So wait, actually, when I think about it, maybe we should use the trump card because we should use the trump card because maybe we should innocent blah blah blah. If I remember right, the streets alone when they're all turned down. Okay, where's the fingerprints again? No, that's the sound is the vials. Here we go. Found the prints have been wiped. Officer Marshall, does it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you went in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind the scene, or to be exact, a handprint. Lesson real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. No, I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints was covered in blood. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the bloodstained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. So we got him in the corner. Let's see how he gets out of this one. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints, blah blah blah. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know that the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. What did he say? I lost track. He said something about the murderer wearing gloves. I'm like, okay, yeah, like we saw he was wearing gloves, so he's right about that. But like everything else, it's a bit sketchy. So we're gonna check it out. One of them happened to be just in the same place. Okay, let's press this statement. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. Is no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened the murderers touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. That's a huge chance, mate. 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. But unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I think we can tell the difference between someone who's saying cereal and someone who's saying cereal. Cereal as in the breakfast, cereal as in the type of murder, serial killing. I never really understood like what serial killing means. Like when people say serial killing, like they usually mean like a very gruesome murder, like the guy was tortured before he was killed or tortured to death. That's a serial killing, and there's like a pattern. You know, a serial killer is a person that goes around killing people, and they usually do it in like for a reason, or they leave a link between each of. There's something similar between each person they killed. So yeah, I watch a lot of NCIS, so yeah, like I said, it's only natural that my fingerprints were on that thing. Oh yeah, I forgot to. We were supposed to do this one. How did you put it? Pay your respects once a month. Yeah, that's right. That, and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. See, wait, if here was his locker, and he didn't know about the fingerprint scanner, then how the hell is he supposed to get into his locker? That doesn't make any sense. If it's his locker, surely he would have known about the fingerprint. Oh, so he must have been using the fingerprint lock without even noticing. Okay. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? The seal of the blood in the desert is just food for buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. Security tape. As long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting anywhere. Please consider carefully where you're going with this. Now then, continue your testimony, Mr. Marshall. He said, wait, did he say something new? Oh man, I missed it. He said something new at the end. Or didn't you know the murderer was in glove? Too bad, that was me in the past. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera panning the floor, there should be more than one camera in this place. If it's an evidence room with lots of like, I understand like it's previous cases, but still there should be more than one camera in this room. And the way that the camera's position is a bit weird. It's like down below instead of being in a place that's high up, like where you can see everything. Anyway, we have to show why we have to look through this piece of evidence right here, and we have to show it that it could be Officer Jake Marshall. And I'm gonna skip this because I hate this music. Blah blah blah, get his ass kicked, blah 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 blah. We see him there, and at the end, pause. Look at that. Does that look similar to you? That's Detective Jake Marshall's locker, and there's something coming out of it. I bring attention back to the security camera. Is it a mistake? Is a mistake? I'm afraid you will soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Today's are short sentences, so are my tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. That's 8 words. Whoa! Phoenix on fire today. Well, he is a Phoenix. Well, he's called Phoenix for a reason. See this locker that has a white cloth sticking out of it? This is the witness's locker. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. As you can see, the white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. That once more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order. It would seem that... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. You're the only one who can open it, douchebag. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is it? He's dug his own grave. He's bloody dug his own grave. But you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah, I call your bluff. You say I know. Prove it. Let's go. He pretty much killed himself right here. The evidence locker. Each locker is unlocked using a detective's fingerprint. A light indicates open boxes. Take that. A fingerprint sensor? Yes. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. I forgot he said that. So Sarah. See that this is what I like about this game. You have to take in consideration every last detail. I only got one word for you, partner. I'm not gonna scream no because that's stupid. But yeah, we got him. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now? He's not a bullfighter. That's right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Is that so? Then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright was not. Yeah, that's right. The only possible conclusion. We did something like this in the second case, in the second episode. There's only one place he could have been. Wait, is the victim? Who the hell is the victim? And the killer? Wait, I'm confused. I am literally confused. I forgot who the killer and the thing. Yeah. Okay, so Goodman's the victim and Meekins is the killer. Okay, so that means he must have been the V. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he knew for sure. May I point out though that Meekins did not know Detective Goodman, he also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his ID card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife out on me. Something about that officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized that the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it? Man, we've backed you in a corner so hard. Oh man, I can't think of a witty statement there. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can say I particularly care. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your bleed, but you don't see me complaining. Oh man, for a guy who shaves his beard like every 5 seconds with a knife. Swear to God, man, stop doing that. You're in a courtroom. You're pulling all your hairs all over the witness stand. Nobody's gonna want to stand there now. They're gonna need to clean that up. And you can't drink in a courtroom. Nobody wants you intoxicated for this. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what me is to tell me. Nick, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for the proof that that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. What do you mean? What do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the same time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to a defense argument, Officer Jake Marshall, I think I worked it out, he didn't expect Meekins to be there. So he had to hurry and put all the evidence in all the bloody clothes in his locker. We'll see it. We'll talk about the bloody clothes. I think I've just realized, because in the video, yeah, there's one thing in the video that doesn't make sense to me, and something that is clear. I had to open his locker. We skip forward a bit. It's going in my head, for the love of God. If we wait a bit, hold on, and look at all the blood. That is blood. Let's present it. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room. I don't know what that reason was yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID, he pulled a knife on you. You pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, huh, partner? Gotcha. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here, now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. Alright, it seems the time has come.